What's going on, guys? We are back with part 4 of the Python chat server, and let's dive right into the code. So one thing I've noticed from the last part is right here on the port available configuration, I set it to port +1. We can actually go ahead and just erase this right here, and the reason for that is because we actually do add the +1 in our allocate address function down here. So we can just leave it as the same number as the port. And now let's move into the server thread. We're finally gonna implement it. So the first thing we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to create a server list of servers. There we go. And this is where we're going to store all of the server threads. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's move down here, and we have the check address function. Oh, so yeah, one thing we didn't do is here when we initialize the main server, we should also be running the check address function, just in case, make sure that the address we input is properly configured. So let's do a check for that here. If check address, and then we're gonna do port, and this time we do wanna echo out whatever happens with the main server. And if this doesn't work, then we're actually gonna go ahead and break the program, because we need this main server to work, otherwise the program is basically useless, right? So alright, let's do a tab on all of this so we can properly indent the code. Alright. Yeah, we should actually bring this up here, put this inside of this indentation, and then we do an else. Alright, and if there's an issue, we're gonna print a message. So let's say error host and the port is already in use. So this way we know that there's something wrong and this main server is not going to be run properly. So we can go ahead and save that. And now we're going to get into a little bit of complicated code. We're going to go ahead and create the server handler. And basically this is going to handle our server threads. Server handler. I like to do a little bit of a nice break here so we know it's, a little bit of a complicated code that we should pay more attention to than the other functions. Alright, so let's call this thread define server handler. So we're gonna need a server IP, a server port, and the client IP. So basically we're gonna open a new socket, which is gonna be standard just like the other ones. Like that. And then we're gonna set, you know what, I can just pull this code up actually from the main server. Yeah, we'll keep the same options here. Alright. Whoops. Too many dots. Way too many dots. And then we can bind. Actually, we can also copy these two and just change the actual socket name. Only thing is, we're going to bind into the server IP, of course, and the server ports, right? And listen, we're only gonna listen to one client. Each server, one client only, right? So basically, if another client connects, we just spawn another server thread. Alright, cool. So after we start listening, we need to accept the connection. Just like that. So whenever we receive the connection, we're gonna go ahead and print our timestamp. Yep. And let's echo out connection from, and then we'll put the address. The address is always gonna be the second variable here, so let's make it a string just in case. And once that's out of the way, we need a loop so that basically we can print out any messages that we receive. So while true, we're gonna go ahead and use our receive function and print. Actually, let's do a check first. If length of string message, so basically if we receive a message of any length, we're gonna go ahead and print the message out. Man, I gotta keep this always saved up here. Cool, so we're gonna do like that plus message. Alright. So that's it. That's gonna be our server handler, and we're gonna be spawning many server threads using this code. So yeah. Of course, before even spawning this, we're gonna invoke the allocate address function to determine the proper port, as we saw on part 3. Alright, cool. So let's move on to some of the server code now. So let's go all the way back to the end of the script. This is where we left off. We're gonna make some changes here. So the first change is over here. Instead of sending this whole message, let's just send the port. So let's delete that, and this is so that when the client receives the message port on the main server, this will be easier to filter and to just get the last few digits so they know, okay, this is the port. Alright, so let's get on this. Alright, so let's give the thread a name, server T, so server thread abbreviated, and we're gonna add the port to the end of it. So that's the name of our server thread. Then we can print that we're starting the thread. So starting server thread, and we'll put the name in here so we know which thread exactly. And this is where the fun part begins. So let's do threading, then let's give it the name we just defined. Now the target, this is the function that we're gonna invoke for the thread, and that's server handler, and the arguments are going to be, alright, so the first argument is the server IP, so that is going to be the host, which we defined all the way at the beginning of the script. And then we're going to do the ports available, followed by the address of the client. So it's very important that we have all this information in there. Now, oh boy. Alright guys, I am back. I was distracted by a phone call over here. Anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought here, but I think what I was gonna say is about setting the thread as a daemon. So setting it as a daemon is gonna allow us to run the thread on the background instead of the forefront of the script. Right, so that's what we want to do. We want to be handling both the clients and the server threads in the background, right? So that we can also use the script to interact, and that's where we're going to present the text user interface later on. Anyway, you understand it as we move further along. So let's just go ahead and basically we're going to add this thread to our list that we just created. All right. And we're gonna set it as a daemon. So set daemon true, and then we're gonna fire up the thread. So we do a start command. Alright, once we get that out of the way, let's print a message to let the user know that the server thread was fired up. Just like that. Nice little sleep, you know, I like it. Just like that. Alright, cool. What else do we need to do? So we have the break from last time. Well, I think one thing that we should do is we should get this whole block of code, this whole while loop, and press tab here so that we can put it inside of a try clause, right? So the reason why we do this is, if you remember, we did this in the client side last time, and that's basically so we could do an except keyboard interrupt. So why do we do this? Basically we do this so that if there's anything wrong with the script in the testing phases, you want to be able to just press Ctrl+C and stop the script. Otherwise it's going to keep running, and then you got to close the terminal, all of that. So let's just do a print and a finished message. And now one last thing that we need here on the server script is, because the thread is running as a daemon, we need to keep the script alive until all the server threads are still alive. Alright, so let's do stay alive while threads are running. Cool. So we'll just do a while true, and we'll do a little loop in here. Servers, and of course all this noise has to come right at this moment. It's New York for you guys. Yeah. Come on, man. I'm gonna wait this out. Alright, with that out of the way, let's save the script. And I think this is it. I don't think we need anything else on the server side for now. This seems good. We're gonna test it out, and if we run into any issues, we'll change it up as we move along. So let's go into the client script now. We're not gonna need to do many changes in here. We're just gonna jump down all the way to the bottom. And basically what we wanna do is, whenever we receive the port message, we wanna get that port number and connect back to the server thread, and then we're gonna start an active chat, right? So at this point, we should already, once we're finished, we should already be able to send messages and receive it on the server thread. So that's what we're going for here. So let's jump all the way to the end of the script here, and let's set that up. Alright, so this is where we're gonna continue right here. Let me get another space here. So we're gonna do if message. So we need to extract the first 5 characters, right? So if message equals port, like that. Oops, no, like that. Actually, let's do a little sleep here. If message equals port, then we're gonna print a message. Let me copy this. What should we print? So connecting to, and we're gonna do, so we have the IP address already because the server connects back to the client to communicate the port, and we do the port as well. So we can do like that. Yeah, I think this should work. Alright, so let's open a new socket now. We're going to be doing a lot of these same socket configurations, so hope you guys memorize this at least. Connect, tuple, then we do like that, a 0, and the port, so the port is going to be, well, in this case we need to make it an integer, and it's going to be the message, the last 5 of the message, right? So like that. Yeah, all the parentheses look right to me. Little break, and then we're gonna open the chat communication. So while true, we're gonna get the message. So at this point, only the client will be able to send the message to the server thread, and then later on we're gonna configure the other side of the connection. So let's do, man, I gotta keep this saved somewhere. Put the timestamp. Enter message. So we'll do if message equals quit, then we can just break out. Otherwise, we're gonna send the message like so. Whoops, like this. Alright, yeah, this looks good. I think this is it. Now let me go ahead and transfer the client to my computer and let's see how it goes. Alright guys, after all these sirens and phone calls and randomness, I'm back. Had to take a little break. I actually got distracted and made a typo. So if you notice here on the client script, it says port space. Now on the server we are sending port, and this is not a space. So yeah, we have to fix this little issue here. And we can just actually do like this ports. Instead of 5 we'll do 4. Cool. So with that out of the way, let's try it out. Here we go. I'm gonna run the server here. Put the username. Alright, it's listening. Now on my other computer, we're gonna go ahead and run the client script. Alright, username. Now IP address. For 2020. There we go. Let's see if it works. Connecting back. Sending the message. Okay, we opened the server thread. Oh, we got another connection. Enter message. Okay, let's try to send the message now. Yeah, looks good. So we're receiving the messages from the client. So yeah, that's it. We wrapped up the server thread. So next up, we got to start working on the client thread now. See you guys next time.